welcome in to the Early Edge Special Soccer Futures Edition. So many of you already in the chat waiting for, you know who's coming up. But this episode, this was a revelation of our man Buckets. He said, I think the people need this. We agreed. And he's the first capper to ever be in the chat before he shows up on the show. That's history. Now let's bring him in. You've missed him. You've loved him. Oh, and with all due respect to you, Buckets, I've got to start with my main man, live from just south of London, England. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back after a short hiatus. He is the guru, Martin W. Green. Martin, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Coach. Thank you for having me back on the show. It's been a long summer. I've been handicapping Brazil's Serie A, the K-League in Korea, Elite Serie A in Norway, all sorts of obscure soccer games. MLS, been doing MLS, Mexico. So it's great to have European soccer back with the heavyweight teams. And I'm looking forward to breaking down some futures picks with you guys. Can't wait to see what Buckets has gone for.
I missed that voice in my ear. God, did I miss the guru's voice in my ear. Now, Buckets, this was your call. You wanted to do this. This is your show. Are you ready?
I'm ready, Coach. I got to admit, I missed Martin's voice as well, but I forgot how inferior that makes me feel as a capper in soccer, having to listen to Martin's perfect accent the whole time he's talking.
Oh, we're stupid. We're stupid.
Oh.
We're stupid. We're stupid. All right, let's get into it. We only have one storyline today. Because many of you, and it happened yesterday, they're like, hey, Coach, when Buckets gives out an obscure league or something we can't find, but also you got to shop with the prices as well. Give us a very quick overview on people that are new or as we start this new year off, what they should be thinking about.
You should absolutely be thinking about price shopping in any book you can find. In soccer, lines are always kind of iffy because of how lineups come out before. Some books address it sooner than later. But especially with futures, the lines are just all over the place. A quick example is Ronaldo top goal scorer in EPL ranges from plus 1,000 to plus 1,900 based on the books you're looking at. Please just take the time to check a couple. I want everyone getting the best value possible on these futures.
And also remember, too, that both of these guys have SportsLine articles. Look at the time that they write them. And then if the price changes, understand they're playing it at the price that they give out. And we're going to adjust those a little bit, too. But that's where you can really get all of your soccer stuff. Go to SportsLine, become a member, $10 a month. Just these two guys are worth it. All right, let's get into our board for, and there's three really big leagues we're going to focus on. English Premier League, Bundesliga, which is all Buckets, and, of course, Serie A, which we love with the Italianos. All right, let's get into it. English Premier League. And, Martin, I got to tell you, this is in your backyard. These are teams you're incredibly familiar with, so it would only make sense that we start, sir, with you.
Oh, thank you very much, Coach. Yeah, I have lots of different plays that I like in the Premier League. I've actually gone for the very top of the table and the bottom of the table, which is where I found the most value. Was considering goal scorer bets, but I was put off a bit by the possibility of someone being injured for several months. So I think I'll return to that market a bit further into the season. But yeah, I really like Man City to finish ahead of Liverpool and win a 5th Premier League title in 6 years. It looks like developing into another 2-horse race between these teams. City finished 1 point clear of Liverpool, as we remember last season. Should be really tight again this time around. But Man City have signed Erling Haaland, the most exciting striker in the world. And I think he could give Pep Guardiola's men just a slight edge here. They were the top scoring team in the Premier League last season, despite playing without a recognisable striker. So who knows what they're going to do? They could go crazy this time around. It could be terrifying. Horse racing fans, you know, you could go for a Quinella, which would be Man City and Liverpool to finish in the top 2 in either order. But I've just gone for a straight exacta, which we would call a forecast bet on this side of the pond. Man City first, Liverpool second. I can only see it being out of those two. You could hedge your bets as the season wears on with a little stake on Liverpool. But yeah, I can't see any other team getting into it. Should I go through my relegation
Yeah,
picks?
do all of them. Absolutely.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Well, moving swiftly along to Brentford. They returned to the top tier of English soccer following a 74-year absence last summer. Made a flying start to the season. They were surging with momentum after winning the Championship playoffs, but their form tailed off pretty drastically mid-season. They looked in serious danger of being relegated to me, but it all changed when they signed Christian Eriksen in January. He transformed their season. He was just on fire, creating chances, leading them to victories. He's now left for Man United, and I just worry they might struggle. I know they might struggle without him. So, yeah, I've got a really good price, I think, on Brentford to be relegated, because the three favourites to go down are the three newly promoted teams. That's Nottingham Forest, Fulham and Bournemouth. But that hasn't happened since 1997, I believe, that all three newly promoted teams have gone down. So it's going to be someone that's already in the league, and I think it could be Brentford. But of all the three teams that have been promoted, I really don't think things look good for Bournemouth. Nottingham Forest have displayed a lot of ambition this summer, spending a lot of money. Fulham have started buying in players too, whereas Bournemouth, there's been a distinct lack of ambition. They bought like one player from the Championship, so they're pretty much going with the team that finished second in the Championship last season, haven't bolstered their squad, operating on a shoestring budget. I think that lack of investment could ultimately come back to bite them. So I really think they'll be relegated, but for a bit more value, I've gone for them to finish rock bottom of the table, plus 200.
All I can think, after listening to the last 4 minutes, educate and entertain. Educate and entertain. That is the reason you just can't go to the recap page and just take down the plays. You've got to hear the education with it. By the way, some of you in the chat are asking what relegation means. It's basically, you know what, Martin, 15 seconds. What does relegation mean?
Okay, so the bottom three teams in the Premier League every season drop down to the division below, which is the Championship, and then three teams from the Championship come up to the Premier League. So it's not like the NFL where you get the same teams every league. In the Premier League, there's actually a real bad punishment if you finish in the bottom three, because you're playing in a lower league and you're not earning much money for the rest of the time. So you definitely want to avoid that. It's bad.
Definitely want to avoid that. But this is the first time that you can actually make a pick for somebody to not win. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Don't win. We want you to be relegated. All right. Now, Buckets, you heard the guru say he's staying away from goal-scoring props because he wants to wait and see. You, however, you're not scared. Give me your two plays.
I am not scared. I love goal-scoring markets so much because it's fun to just root for the same guy every single week, regardless win or lose, just to show up and perform. There's obviously a risk of injury here, so this is not the kind of thing you load 10% of your bankroll on over an 8-month future. These are going to be sprinkles when you're playing the goal-scoring market like this.
Okay.
While Erling Haaland is the heavy favorite to be the top goal scorer that new talent brought to Manchester City, I am very hesitant to bet on a Manchester City goal scorer because Manchester City has 14 guys on that team that can score from any given moment on any given spot on the pitch. They have so much depth that when you're looking for an actual top goal scorer, you almost want to look at teams without that much depth and without that much talent. Last year, we saw Salah and Son both share the Golden Boot, and these were teams that were able to just dominate their individual teams. Darwin Nunez is kind of a dark horse here, but he was just brought on to the Liverpool side to replace Sadio Mane, who went to my team over in Germany. But Darwin has looked absolutely incredible so far in these preseason games. He dominated the league in Portugal. Now he's coming here to play alongside one of the most selfless players in the football world in Mohamed Salah. He is going to see so many chances, and at plus 1,400, that is absolutely worth a sprinkle to me. And then kind of playing off of Martin's ticks here as well, we do like to root for goals, obviously, every single day. But sometimes it's fun to just root for a loser, kind of root for that team to never show up. And Fulham are one of these guys that tend to get promoted a lot and then drop down within either the next year or the next couple of years. This was a team we saw in the Championship last year with their star striker, Mitrovic, score 8, 9, just a ridiculous amount of goals. This guy was an absolute stud who broke the Championship goal record almost halfway through the season. However, we've seen him in the EPL before, and he does not perform near at the same capacity that he's able to perform in the Championship. Mm-hmm. The EPL defenses are just too good. He's not going to be able to find the rhythm that he's used to, And I see Fulham, while not finishing bottom 3 very likely in this upcoming season.
It's kind of like going from college basketball to the NBA. It's a whole nother step when we're talking championship to the Premier League. I've learned from you guys, which has been amazing. And so many of you in the chat are being so nice to my guys. I missed you. Welcome back. That's what we're talking about. That's what SportsLine is all about, doing it together, no matter the sport. Now, we have grown really, really big here, Martin. I don't know if you noticed the last couple of months, but we actually have to pay bills now. We're actually more than just a little show. So we've got more to get to, but before we do that, let us pause and hear from one of our incredible partners. And we are back. Now, when I think of the German league Bundesliga, I think of one word. Goals. Give me some buckets. You're up.
My favorite league every single year. And like Coach said, we love this because all teams do is score. There's no very fantastic defenses in German Bundesliga that stop teams from scoring. The best teams in Germany's defenses are worse than most teams' worst defenses in other leagues. It's so much fun to watch if you just care about goals. I'm touching on this top goal scoring market again, and I'm going with the new recruit for Bayern Munich, Sadio Mane, to be the top goal scorer at plus 350. Bayern Munich has been the top scoring team for the past 10 years in German Bundesliga, and they just got rid of the Golden Boot 7-time recipient, Robert Lewandowski, who's going over to Barcelona, and that's fine. We wish him the best. We're not upset about that because we got Sadio Mane, who was the AFCON Player of the Year coming over from Liverpool. He is going to have the most fun of his football career playing in Germany because this is a guy that can score against teams like PSG, Real Madrid, Manchester City, and now he's playing against defenses like Werder Bremen, Schalke 07, and Wolfsburg. The amount of power and the amount of just play that he is going to bring to the German league is going to be untouchable. I really, really like him at plus 350 here to lead this league in goals.
Okay.
Now, we also have to look at a second market here, and it's kind of a bizarre market because Bayern Munich is so much better than every team in Germany. If we bet a future on them to win the league, it's minus 800 right now.
Oh, damn.
And Coach, you kicked me off the show if I was pitching a minus 800 8th-month future. That's not something we're going to do here today.
We would never do that.
Absolutely not.
I like where you're going here, though. I like where you're going.
So what the books do is they create a betting line that is somebody to win the league if Bayern Munich didn't exist. You're basically betting on who's going to finish second in the league, which I love that is a thing because, again, Bayern is so much better. We're going with Bayern Leverkusen at plus 550 to get second place in this league. This spot is usually claimed by Dortmund. However, Dortmund in this past year lost Erling Haaland, and the guy they bought to replace him is potentially out for the entire season on medical leave. We wish him nothing but the best on that recovery, but this is a team that will not be able to perform without their usual striking talent. Meanwhile, Leverkusen has Patrick Schick, who just re-signed, who was getting offer from EPL teams, La Liga teams. He had so much potential to climb these big leagues, and he said, no, I'm staying in Germany, and we are going to win this league. I love the odds here at plus 550.
Now, not everybody agrees with you, Buckets. What would you say to somebody who says, I would go with Leipzig for this particular bet?
I'm going to guess that's my boy Edward Boothman in the chat because we talk every week when Leipzig is playing. He's a huge fan. I think it's going to be Leverkusen or Leipzig. I'm giving Leverkusen a slight edge here. They do have Nkunku, who is a fantastic striker, who did re-sign with Leipzig, but Leipzig has also been in ties with recent trades to Chelsea. They could be losing some of their starters as Chelsea tries to quickly build up for this new league. I just think Bayer Leverkusen's going to have a little more depth at the end of the transfer season here.
Hey, Martin, how do you feel about Buckets having his boys? And he's saying, we got. When you're talking about Arsenal, do you say we got or my favorite striker? Do you say that? Or you keep it professional?
When you're talking about the team you support, yeah, you kind of refer to them in the collective. So yes, like we won the
don't
league.
Get that big old.
Although I didn't do anything to win the league. I was sitting on the sofa drinking beer. I claimed the victory. Not that Arsenal win the league anyway, so it doesn't matter.
All right, many of you in the chat too are asking about when are these guys going to be experts on the page. You don't have to look through all the articles. We get it. We're working on it. We get it. They deserve it. We get it. All right, now we've done Bundesliga, we've done the Premier League, but there is another league that I like a lot, And so we're going to talk about it right now because I'm going to go back to my man, the Guru. And there are 2 Serie A's. We've been playing a lot of Brazil, but that's not the one we're talking about right now. Martin W. Green, you're up next.
There's only one Serie A that matters. Division of Italy. Inter Milan finished 2 points behind their fierce rivals AC Milan last season. It was the first time AC Milan had won the league title in like a decade. But they won the league in 2021. They were narrowly behind AC Milan last season. They haven't sold any key players this summer, so they're going to benefit from a strong and settled squad. They've also brought back Romelu Lukaku on loan from Chelsea. He was the Serie A player of the year when Inter won the title in 2021. He kind of flopped at Chelsea. It didn't really work out, but there's a reason why Chelsea paid, I think it was £90 million to sign him. And that's because he was tearing it up in Serie A week in, week out. Can't seem to hack it in the Premier League anymore, but he's far too strong and powerful for those Serie A defences. So him linking up with Lautaro Martinez again, that looks good to me. I can see them finishing just ahead of AC Milan this year because I think they've got a better squad. Juventus could be their main challengers, but they lost too many games against weak opposition last season. They've also lost Giorgio Chiellini and Matthijs de Ligt, their 2 defenders. That could hamper their chances. So I like Inter to go and win the title. Plus 188 I've got. Yeah, I'm going for that.
Martin, you know, it's still kind of sitting in my crawl because you know what we did a year ago at this time.
Yeah.
You know what we did. Yeah, we played Juventus, and it just set in my account of 9 months. And I had to stare at that thing every single day. And they were like 20 points behind. That's okay.
It seemed like a great idea because they brought back Allegri, who was the coach that won the league 5 seasons in a row. They had a great team, and they just screwed it up. I'm still annoyed about it, and that's why I'm betting against them this time around.
Bucket, you have no idea. I was relentless. I was like, when are they going to start playing? In the meantime, he's just winning game after. All I could focus on was that damn futures ticket with Juventus. All right, now, many of you like to call Martin W. Green a lot of things. Of course, the Guru is stuck because I gave it to him. But also, many of you call him an international man of mystery because you just never know when Martin W. Green is going to show up. So I tasked him, and I said I would love a little international parlay of mystery where people can't figure out why you put it together, but it all works. So, Martin W. Green, what did you put together for us today?
Yeah, I had so many futures picks, Coach, that I just had to whittle it down to the ones that I really liked for this show. So I put 4 of them together for a little parlay at plus 470. This, once again, is really dependent on shopping around for your odds, as Bucket said in the intro. But yeah, first one is a similar market to what he mentioned about the Bundesliga without Bayern Munich. You can do in La Liga, the Spanish top division, you can do without Real Madrid and Barcelona, which is just, it seems like a slam dunk for Atletico Madrid. They finish in the top 3 every season. They won it in 2021. They're perennial contenders for the title. Their main challengers are Sevilla, but Sevilla this summer have sold Jules Koundé and Diego Carlos, their 2 centre-backs. You can't seriously challenge for glory when you rip the heart out of your defence in the summer. So I expect them to regress this summer, and I think Atletico look nailed on to win La Liga without Real Madrid and Barcelona. As we've already mentioned, Bayern Munich will cruise to the title in the Bundesliga. Can't see anyone stopping PSG in Ligue 1. They're far too strong for their domestic rivals. Very good new coach in Christophe Gaultier as well. So throw them in. And I needed to come up with something to bring up the value to something closer to plus 470, which I was happy with. And I've gone for Roma to finish in the top 4 in Serie A. They didn't finish in the top 4 last season. I do expect Inter Milan, AC Milan and Juventus to be there, but I'm backing Roma to finish above Napoli. Napoli have lost Kalidou Koulibaly to Chelsea. That could destroy their defensive prowess a little bit, so I'm a bit concerned about them. Whereas Roma now, surging with momentum under Jose Mourinho. He's not going to be content to, be languishing in sixth place for too long. He does mean business. They've signed Paulo Dybala this summer. They're displaying a bit of ambition in the transfer market, and he's building the sort of team that he likes. So I can see Roma securing a top 4 finish in Serie A. Stick them all together. That's my parlay. If it doesn't quite work out at those odds at your sports book, you could throw in Salzburg perhaps to win the Austrian Bundesliga, because then you would get it up to plus 500 and something, which looks great too.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, Claire said, do the soccer gurus have any prop advice? Buckets is not a guru. No. There's only one. All right. However, we do props on the early edge, which is our daily show every single day. And this fall, just because they're in the NFL, there is the World Cup. So these guys, you're going to see a lot of them. They will have props on the individual shows, just not on this particular show. All right. Hopefully, you guys got all of that. And these two, they're just buckled up. They're going to be here the next 9 to 10 months all the time. But with that being said, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these soccer futures straight to the pay window for my entire crew. Love them all. Buckets. My main man, the guru, Martin W. Green, is back. And Jeweler on the ones and the twos. Do not forget, it does not matter the sport, the day, the time. You know who's going to be here for you. There's only one brand, and we like to call it the Early Edge. Good luck.